Let's start kicking off with the formalities. Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining today. This is going to be a quick half-an-hour session with Rob, myself, who is currently helping out with a DAO project for New South Africa. Annette will be helping us out on just capturing the questions, and ultimately join in our DAO tech team as well, Adam and Aaron, if you just want to show your faces quickly. Thanks for joining, guys. And we will try and get to as many questions as possible. Please use the Q&A button at the bottom to submit any questions. If you have any technical challenges, please pop them in the chat, and our guys will try and help you out and sort you out. But all your questions should be submitted through the Q&A section, and we'll pick those questions off as we go. We will also capture the rest of the questions and try and answer them afterwards in written format, either on the website or on the Discord channel. So please do submit your questions. All of them are valuable to us, and you know, all of this interaction helps us to form the basis of the DAO and how do we actually run and operate. So just in terms of how you can get involved, we do invite you that if you want to get involved with the governance or any contribution in treasury or anything else, Discord is the place for you to be. But if Discord is new and scary to you, we will be launching a Telegram channel that you can join, and that would be more for notifications and just general communication and interaction with the rest of the community that shares the passion for what we are trying to do and achieve here. So I'm going to just hand over to Rob here and kick us off with a question. Just say, Rob, what inspired you to launch New South Africa, and give us a bit of context. What is this all about?
So thanks everyone, and thanks everyone for joining. You know, this is just a sort of wild idea that could turn into something extraordinary. And our aim really as newsouthafrica.org is to save South Africa. And I'm not going to go into South Africa falling apart. I mean, every day is load shedding. I know Joburg's got load shedding right now. Some people are struggling to log on, but we've got worse, and the country is falling apart. It's collapsing. 1 million of the 5 million, let's call them white South Africans, have emigrated, have left the country. 20 to 25% of the most well-trained, educated, experienced people of all races have left the country, most never to return. It's falling apart. The country is collapsing. And, you know, we can wait to 2024 to try and save it, or we can do something. And here's one idea of how do we do something. And just to be very upfront with everyone, my understanding of blockchain, crypto, NFTs, and DAOs is up here, okay? So if you're confused, I don't have a very deep knowledge, but I've had an idea, and it's come from different angles, and it's all fallen together, and a great group of people, Skulk, Annette, Aaron, Adam, Dom, many, many others, have said, let's give it a go. Let's try and make it happen. So the beauty about a DAO, decentralized, autonomous organization, is you're all involved. Nobody is the leader. I might have kicked off the idea, but I'll decrease in importance very quickly. And all of you will step up, and shoulder to shoulder, we will form an organization, a network, a tribe, a community, a new country, a new South Africa, where we won't need government, where we will deliver governance. We will supply basic services. We will decide what is good and what is bad, and we will do it shoulder to shoulder. Our society is collapsing. If we had an economic problem, the people on this call would come up with business solutions. But this is not an economic problem. This is a societal problem. So we need a societal solution, and that is to form a new South Africa. And we know democracy isn't working in South Africa because it's the tyranny of the majority, okay? So what we need to do is get like-minded people who have shared values, who trust one another, to work together, shoulder to shoulder, and where everyone is equal. This new technology. The ANC has failed us, and we've launched newsouthafrica.org as the solution. The key thing for you to read, please, 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 are the 15 principles. If you read anything now or this evening, is read the 15 principles, because if you subscribe to them in toto, you're the right person for newsouthafrica.org. But if you've got a problem with any of them, or you have something to hide, or you're doing something illegal, this is not the right group for you. Because the one beautiful thing about the blockchain is there's no hiding. There's no hiding. If you're up to something bad, the blockchain will find out. Okay? So read the 15 principles. They are fundamentally libertarian, non-racial, non-woke, merit-based, and exactly what you would do if you took the US Constitution, South Africa's original constitution, the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, libertarianism, and Stoicism, and smashed them all together and said, let's create something that defines good people, people like us. And that's the 15 principles. And by the way, even though I may have begun to author them, some way wiser people than me, almost 50 plus people all over the world have contributed, including Sarah Gon of the Institute of Race Relations, Franz Cronje, who runs the Strategic Research Foundation, Helen Ziller, and many, many other cleverer people than me. So we think the 15 principles are strong, and we'd love you to say, we're in, we believe in them. We're creating a DAO based on the 15 principles. That is, and the key to the 15 principles is you have a shared set of values and we trust each other. But together we're going to agree how the DAO is governed, what the goals are, what the missions is, and how to fund it. There's no leader. The beautiful thing about a DAO is people put up a proposal and everybody votes, or everybody that's interested in that topic votes. And if it gets a certain percentage, it goes through and gets funded. Okay? So you can come up with ideas, come up with proposals, but as a group, we decide the direction it's going. We'll work these things out pretty quickly. Okay? I'm not the leader. I'm happy to take the blame, okay? But I'm not the leader. I'm not the president. We don't have a president and we don't need one. Now, this has never been done before. So we've got a concept. We've got our 15 principles. We've got incredible tech skills. And we're also getting a lot of help from international blockchain, crypto, and DAO experts around the world. Who are, this is experimental. It's never been done anywhere else in the world. We're the first. We, you, me, and the gang. New South Africa are the first. And we do have a mission. Our mission is to save South Africa from its government and from the ANC. So we've got to get ANC out in 2024. We've got to get the 55% of South Africans who didn't vote to vote and vote for change. And we've got to stand shoulder to shoulder with each other against evil. It's terribly unfair for individuals to stand up and not get support, for institutions and organizations to fight on our behalf and not be properly funded or not be supported when they get attacked by evil. If we are shoulder to shoulder, if there are 100,000 of us, 800,000 of us, all the taxpayers in South Africa, or 8 million of us with shared values, we will not be defeated. We will become the most powerful entity for good in South Africa. And you don't just have to be South African. You just have to love this country and want the best for it. So we're going to deliver governance without a government, and we're never, ever going to surrender. If you imprison me for coming up with this idea, it won't stop newsouthafrica.org from becoming a great success and from doing all the right things. This has its own momentum. Thank you for signing up, everybody. Now I'm going to talk quickly about the technology. Blockchain, right? Some of you are experts. My dad, for example, who I think this is on the call at 96, said, Rob, you lost me at the word blockchain. So let me just explain blockchain from up here, okay? In the olden days, there was a ledger. So if a ship went to sea and they did a deal on something, they would have a ledger book where the person agreeing to something would sign, the person receiving that thing would sign. You'd have one single ledger. And then the digital age and accountants came, but you'd still have a single ledger that had income, cost, profit or loss, balance sheet, assets and liabilities. Okay, a ledger. There was still one ledger that everyone would sign off on, even if it was digital, until the blockchain. The blockchain is a distributed ledger, which means millions of computers around the world verify that you sold something to someone, you received the money, the time, the date, the price, everything is there, and it's irrevocable, irreversible, can't be changed, can't be cheated, can't be gamed. That transaction happened, and that's a block, and the person buying it gets a block, and so it goes. And that's why there are millions of blockchains. So what? Okay, so what? Blockchain, it's an underlying technology. On its own, no one cares. But one of the three manifestations, and there are going to be many more, of the blockchain is crypto. Now, cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin or other, couldn't exist without the blockchain. If I'm going to sell you a piece of currency at a certain price and you're going to buy it, unless we have a formal ledger, a confirmation of that transaction, no one's going to trust it. And the blockchain gives that. Okay, so cryptocurrencies have only existed as a result of the blockchain. So you have the blockchain, boom, out comes crypto, which is developing. And then out comes NFTs, non-fungible tokens. What the hell is that? A non-fungible token is simply a digital certificate of ownership, provenance, legacy, whatever. Let's say you created a piece of digital art, okay? Amazing creation. And you said, I created this. And someone takes a picture, a digital picture. They go, no, I created it. As long as it's an NFT and it has its digital certificate of the original owner, you can prove you own it. And then DAOs. I only learned about DAOs about 8-9 months ago, okay? From a friend of mine, Alex Livian in America. And then Aaron and Adam said, oh yeah, we've known about that for a long time. A DAO is a decentralized, autonomous organization. Think about a company that has 1,000 employees, none of whom have ever met each other or ever will. But everybody knows what they're meant to do. And if I'm head of sales in Johannesburg for Widget Corporation and I sell a widget, it's registered on the blockchain that I sold the widget to someone at the price and at the time, and the sales manager could be automated, doesn't have to be a real person, pays me my commission automatically, and it's all registered on the blockchain. So you can have these decentralized autonomous organizations that operate autonomously based on Ethereum smart contracts, but based on the blockchain. So you have the blockchain as an underlying technology, crypto, NFTs, and DAOs. And all of a sudden, the idea came, we could start a new country, a new tribe. It doesn't have to have a territory, but we could issue passports, could issue visas. We could gain recognition from other countries that say, wow, the 1 million members of newsouthafrica.org, all of whom have been checked, KYC'd, don't have criminal records, haven't done anything illegal, signed off by Interpol, we'll give these people visas, whereas South Africans have to apply for them. But members of the DAO will automatically have visas to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Rwanda, whatever. We could become a more prominent and certainly more honest and decent organization than the South African government and nation. Hypothetical thinking. Corruption is impossible using our method. So don't join us if you've got anything to hide. Right, 1 more minute and then I'll stop. We need to build a massive network. It doesn't have to be only South Africans, but prominently South Africans or people that really want to help and save South Africa. So spread the word, get as many people to sign up as possible. We have to agree the mission. And we think the mission is to deliver governance without government. And we need one commandment. And I'm happy for everyone to come up with a suggestion. But I think if we're paying the goodness forward, that lovely expression, if someone does you a favor or does something good to you, you don't pay them back, you pay it forward to someone else. And it's very biblical, and it's just the basis of society, which is kindness, love, and helping those less fortunate than yourself. And I do think that could be our one commandment, but we're open for suggestions. And finally, tactics. So we have an election in 2024, and newsouthafrica.org can really, really make a difference. So we will find a way to fund. And I have an idea here, which I'm going to tell you in a second, that doesn't require you guys to put your hands into your pockets, or at least you don't have to. Firstly, we have to promote the brand ANC out, because we've got to get the ANC out. We know they're criminals, corrupt, they're past their sell-by date. We need to remove them in 2024. And we need people to vote for change. So ANC out, vote for change. Your vote counts. 55% of South Africans didn't even vote. They've kind of given up, said it's pointless. We've got to get those people to vote. And we've got to fund projects that can make a difference. And there was a question that I saw right at the beginning of this that said, this is fine if we get, all the professionals, educated people to join this DAO, fantastic. But that's not the majority of this country. The majority of this country will never understand blockchain, probably don't have access to Wi-Fi or a smart device, and won't know what the hell you're talking about. But that doesn't mean we can't use the DAO to help them, educate them, and make them realize that voting for change and getting the ANC out will change their lives for the better. Put projects forward. We need to force the coalition to come together before 2024 and stop fighting. And I know a lot of people are grumpy at me for saying, well, Gayton McKenzie could be a good option for president, okay? Back off there. He's a force for good. He's playing his political games at the moment. Everyone's using their sharp elbows to prove themselves. They're working it out. We've got 19 months till 2024, but we as newsouthafrica.org are going to be a very big force for good. We're going to have a huge amount of money in the treasury, and they're going to come to us. We're going to make the coalition work together. And the final thing is a funding idea. Here's where you can all help. Annette, with Annette's amazing help, and a few others, we're building a database of South Africans abroad and friends of South Africa abroad who could each write a $5,000 check. Let's call that 100,000 Rand. Okay. So please send via the Telegram group or via the Discord group, okay, or somehow to any of us, the names of as many South Africans abroad or foreigners that love South Africa that we can contact later in the year or next year who will write checks of $5,000 each. And if we can get to, you ready for this? 3,000 to 4,000 names. And by the way, Annette, I think we're at 600-700 names without our names going. We're at 1,000 names. If we can get to 3,000 to 4,000 names times 100,000 Rand, we will have 300 to 500 million Rand, which we can use to make sure that in 2024, the coalition of the good wins the election. And we do everything legally and transparently. In fact, this conversation we're having is probably going to get sent to the ANC and they're going to shit in their pants, bluntly. So on that note, I think I've given my mission. And remember, I'm not in charge. Please, everyone, get everyone to sign up, get everyone involved, and get involved yourselves. Skalk, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that vision and the ideas and the concept around this. I think there's a lot more clarity around what it is and where we're going with this. A lot of moving parts, as you can see. So let's try and get to some of these questions. And there are some tough ones here. So the first one is from Lo. How will this concept work with a majority population that can barely read?
So I think I probably did answer that already to say, let's build newsouthafrica.org to critical mass in terms of numbers, people, and capital funding. We then will use tactics, like some clever tactics. Tim Mostert, I don't know if Tim's on the call, but Tim Mostert has a brilliant idea, already developed, to create comic books, which I believe 20 people read each comic book. And these comic books, if our DAO, all the newsouthafrica.org people agree that this is a good use of funds and a good project, we fund it and we get comic books into the townships, homeless settlements, to the less fortunate people, to educate them on what is a constitution, what is democracy, and why it's so important to vote and to vote for change. So that's one way of doing it. The other is Lee Hitch, a friend of mine, is putting free Wi-Fi into the townships in exchange for people downloading an advertisement. And he's got, I think, 2 million subscribers already, and he's going to have 4.5, 5 million by the time of the election. He's going to open that channel for us to, push forward our mission, etc., etc. Within newsouthafrica.org, I'm sure you've got better ideas than me, so come up with them.
Yeah, I want to highlight at this point, a key part of this DAO and the formation of it is for people to submit proposals exactly for this. So the questions that you have, try and turn that into a solution, or, reach out to other people to try and contribute, because every single question that you have is valid and is legitimate, and that we need to speak to, and we want to address that through proposals in the DAO. I love that, just in the comments, Wei Colwood said, easy, we raise funding through the DAO to help get more people educated and literate in the country. And that's the underlying goal for the first, what we call the first season of the DAO.
Scott,
next question.
Adam and Aaron, you might want to say something about the tech.
Cool, hi guys, Yeah, we're here. We're part of the technical team, busy providing guidance and assistance on how to set up the DAO. Something that I don't think has been touched on just yet is the DAO centers around a voting protocol, which means just like any other democracy, people will vote for, we've made reference here to proposals. But so, for example, there was the question in the group, how are we going to do this without the government's buy-in, or without with the uneducated population really partaking? For example, if we were to make a proposal to say we're going to replace Eskom, install solar or renewable energy in certain locations, this is the cost, and we have the treasury, the DAO votes to do that, we can go ahead and do that. And that's an example of how we can take a problem that we have in the country, tackle it as a DAO, and solve the problem, sometimes with a commercial lens. I have to emphasize, I think most members of the DAO, especially in the beginnings of the DAO, are business people, successful commercial business people, and we know how to solve these problems for the country through a kind of commercial lens that's beneficial to the economy as a whole. So yeah, just wanted to touch on that.
And I'll add that I think the technology is going to morph over time. We're going to learn how to operate, so be patient with that. The whole game is going to be changing things, hearing feedback, iterating, and make sure it gets there. So right now we're using a couple of technologies that some of you may be familiar with and some not. But at the end of the day, it would be to build a custom solution where, like you said, ordinary South Africans, multilingual, trying our best to actually get it out to people so that everyone can voice their ideas in the country. I have this pothole next to me right here. I would like to be fixed. Even if it's not going to be done right now, it's going to be recorded on the blockchain, and people will be able to see every single query, every single problem in South Africa. So whether we fix it now or later, it will get done at some point in time.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. So here's a bit more of a political question for you, Rob. But I almost dare not ask it, because I do want to just reiterate, this is not a political movement or in support of any political party. This is focusing on a coalition to create a governance structure that works in our country. So Vanna, so I do note your question here around Gate and McKenzie, but I also want to just point out that that is Rob's personal view, and so the DAO in its entirety can agree to disagree with that view as well. So any view in politics can be opposed in the DAO. Rob, do you want to give your comment?
I have a feeling, in fact, I'm pretty sure Gayton's on this call, okay? And I know him very well. And I can tell you now, he is a principled, decent, intelligent, kind, incredible leader. When you meet him, and we will profile him, we'll find a way to profile him, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Okay, there are a lot of very good potential leaders of this country in the government side, through DA, Action SA, Inkatha, VF Plus, and others. But Gayton is quite extraordinary, and I'd like you to meet him. So just let's park that aside, okay? He's an extraordinary man. He's libertarian, capitalist, anti-communist. He's one of us. But wait and see, okay? He's flexing his muscles politically, and there's still 19 months to go. Guys, it's very, very, guys and gals, sorry, this is a very white male panel, and I apologize for that, but we only really decided to get our act together 1 week ago. Skulk called and said, I'm happy to take the lead and pull this by the neck and pull this forward, and Adam and Aaron and Annette and a few other people said, we'll help. And it just happened to be, we're all in Cape Town and we're all white males other than Annette. So we really want diversity, Kuhle, we want you to bring all your buddies here, please. And we want more females and more, green colored peoples and, Martians and whatever. Please, we want this to be a diverse group of intelligent, trusting, loving, positive people.
Yeah, and on that note as well, we are in the process of inviting what we call senators, which we look at as the heart of the organization. So people that we look up to, trust in our communities. So if there is anybody that you would like to recommend, please get in touch with us on Discord and put forward your recommendations so that we can add the people that you look up to the DAO.
Oh, Richard Hoption, I think it's Richard Hoption, who was at Michael House with me 1,000 years ago, says Paul Fourie believes he has a solution for you. He's developing a super app that engages communities. Can he talk to a tech team? It's exactly what we want. Guys.
Absolutely.
Please, yes, put us in touch with Paul. Aaron?
Yeah, Adam's been working for quite a while on a proposal for the DAO on just such a super app, which is a community engagement platform and a way to escalate issues that you have. Again, I don't want to linger too much on these solutions. We do have a lot of solutions as sort of a team of a founding team of people who wanted to push forward this movement. But all of those solutions that we have and ideas that we have will be proposed as proposals into the DAO and approved by everybody that's here, everybody that is a member. And this is really the process and how it's going to go. I cannot emphasize that enough. This is a group of action takers, of doers, of solution finders, right? So it's not good enough to sort of come to this forum and say, hey, there's this problem or that problem. What we want people to do is come to this forum and say, hey, I have this solution and I'm going to put it forward. I'm going to execute on it with the backing of my fellow New South Africans.
100%. And if that app is better than what we're thinking at the moment, no egos, we leave them off the table and we take the best solution to get the goal moving forward.
Yeah.
And the key is we're looking for synergies here. So at the middle of this, we've got the technology that we're busy building. There's a mission that we're after. So both of these worlds needs to come together, and how we do that is through collaboration. So please, again, a call to submit your proposals, go onto the Discord channel. I see some people have asked how to get onto the Discord. You can just jump onto newsouthafrica.org and you will see at the top, there will be a join Discord button that you can just click, and that will take you to the Discord channel. So interesting question here from Gareth Tyndall. Sorry, Aaron, did you have something else to add?
No, actually, I just wanted to address, I'm seeing it come up in the chat quite a lot. People are asking, what are next steps? How can they get involved? They love the idea and the concept. And I think I was going to say the same thing as you now, Skulk, which is the next step is to get on the Discord, to get involved. You can review and propose proposals in the Discord. There's different channels for different communication mechanisms. And again, just to reiterate how we started this call, because I see now we've got a number of new members. There will also be a Telegram group if you just want updates and news on what New South Africa is doing. Discord is where you go if you want to participate and if you're going to bring and vote on the proposals. Telegram is where we're going to just do announcements, and we'll be sending out that Telegram group through all the normal channels, through all the ways that we reached you today. So you will hear about it.
So I've got a question here from Bernard. He's asking, for a DAO, new country, you need 3 things: regulations or principles, a leader, which I don't think we agree with quite on that, and then a currency or token. What is your plan in terms of token or currency? And maybe want to invite the tech team to speak a little bit about this.
I'll quickly talk. We don't need a leader. This is leadership-less. It's everyone. It's a referendum network-based organization. There's no leader. On crypto, we could develop our own currency down the line, but and we probably will. But Aaron and Adam?
Immediate mission.
I don't think we really need to develop any currency right now. I think the idea is to have just a US stable coin or some form of stable coin that we can hold in treasury. And like Aaron said, and everyone's sharing the same ethos, we want to get stuff done. So when donations come in, we'll hold it in a certain currency that has value. So USDC and DAI are known to be having value. They trade in all over the world. So that's pretty much what we're going to use for now. And when a project is proposed and voted and everyone agrees, we allocate money to that. In this case, it'll be one of those stable coins, and anyone else could trade that for rands to date. So that's the whole idea. Let's keep it simple. We need to get stuff done. We don't need to create a coin that has speculative value.
Yeah.
Right.
Skulkin and Nessa,
so
Karu Charu and Gareth Tyndall, we didn't answer.
Yes,
ask Gareth a question, and Karu Charu is getting frustrated.
Gareth Tyndall asks, what did Singapore do to change the country for the better that we can't do?
We can't have a leader. We can't have a dictatorial leader. We can't have a benevolent dictator. We can't impose laws from top down. We can't do any of that. This is a network that agrees the right way forward. But the fundamental thing is everyone has to sign off on the 15 principles. If you're unhappy with one, don't join. If we agree on the 15 principles, we will probably agree on most things.
Yeah, just from my perspective, and I've done a bit of reading and looking into Singapore, particularly. It's an interesting use case because Singapore was colonized just like South Africa was, and over a very similar time period has done incredibly well for themselves. And the overarching sentiment is Singapore has achieved this by investing in a growth mindset or investing in infrastructure. So again, sort of the proposals that are coming through the DAO is building energy infrastructure, building educational infrastructure, building actual infrastructure in the country is one of the best things that we can do for economic growth. Having that growth mindset and prioritizing it and education first are some of the real core principles to get to where Singapore is today. But part of that as well is Singapore put its history completely behind it and took a new approach to say, look, we are where we are today. How do we go up from here? And I think South Africa needs to do a very similar sort of exercise.
And the only way is through having a lot of people involved. A lot of money is needed, a lot of people and opinions are needed. So yeah.
Thank you, guys. We are running out of time. I'm going to take one more question, and it's a tough one.
Will you just ask Karu's? I haven't seen Karu Charu's.
Yes, absolutely. Karu is asking, how do we influence government? Why would they listen to us?
They don't need to.
Oh, that's a good question. We don't need to. We just do what we do. I mean, if you think about, if all the people on here, I presume, are taxpayers, you pay your tax, and you get nothing in return from government. In fact, the poorest people are getting nothing either. So, I've got a borehole. I don't need water. I've got a solar or a generator. When a load sheds, they kick in. It's expensive. I got private schools for my kids, private security. You just can go on and on and on. All the services that government's supposed to provide, they either have broken, stolen, or not providing it. So, it's pointless me even having any government. But there's a comment here from Wade. He says, we don't need to influence government. We become governance. Well, we don't. We become governance. We will deliver to people what they've been asking for. Yeah, I think that's the best way of looking at it.
I think it's a great place to end this conversation. The rest of the questions, they will be answered in FAQ. We will create a written document for those, and we will distribute it on Discord and on the website. Thank you so much for participating, everybody. Thank you for your time and energy. Rob, any closing remarks?
A quick closing remark. I think I've gone live on Podcast and Chill with Mac G. And most people who look like me don't know Mac G, but Mac G is the biggest podcaster in South Africa by far. And he's one of us. He's signed up. He's the coolest cat. He's a libertarian, a minimalist like me, and a stoic. So please go and look at Podcast and Chill with Mac G. It's probably going to go mad, and we'll get a lot of people signing up. But folks, let's build this. Bring your friends in. Let's get momentum, and let's create something that is really a new South Africa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.